She had questions, questions that baffled, made her brain writhe in pain. Like bees, they buzzed in her head. Like bugs, they would crawl in her brain. She would run to her parents, run to her friends. They would shoo her away, cause they knew not what the answers thereof. They knew not the would-be writer's strengths. Writers are mad. Mad, us the writers are, trying to grab some sense in the nonsensical ways of the world, surviving on just one organ majorly, called heart. We profess no brains. Brains keep humans worlds apart. This heart that smiles, it loves, it jumps with glee like a child, it blooms and it withers away, and it bleeds profuse. It has heartburns when we are alive, but it refuses to burn when all else burns to ashes.
Wow.
Good evening, dear friends. This is Maya, a writer, poet, and a motivational speaker, introducing you a very special guest of mine for the evening, Megha Bajaj, who is an author just like me, a poet just like me. So here we click and we just wonder if you are going to have this wonderful evening with all of us with great relish. Welcome to the show, Megha.
Thank you so much, Maya. Such an honor to be here. I, I did happen to go through a few of your midnight latte, and from the name to the madness, I liked it all a lot. So here I am.
Thank you so much. So shall we roll on with the questions, Megha?
Absolutely.
How to peg this curly hair, eccentric visionary into words. Let's begin with the challenge again. Let me know who Megha is. Let my audience know why is she eccentric and what vision does she have.
Wow. So I have to tell you all that this is one of those rare interviews where the questions have not been shared in advance. So everything you all see here is absolutely like two people meeting for the first time chatting with each other, just that all of you are also there. I think eccentricity, I don't think I need to say more because I've always been a very quirky person, Maya. Like, if everybody is doing something, you'll always catch me doing something else. To give you a small example, it's like I grew up in this 25 member joint family at Nepensi Road, Marwadis, and they would always all be together and hustling and bustling in the common areas. I had this beautiful balcony, and I would always be sitting there, and I would be sitting with like my hands on my ears, and I would just be sitting there. So mom or dad or some chacha chachi would come and be like, "What are you doing?" And all of five, I would answer, "I'm listening to the voice in my head." And they would be so surprised
Beautiful.
because they would be like, what? Kya sun rahi ho? And I'm like, वो आवाज कहाँ पे आवाज मेरे मन की मेरे दिल की I didn't know all those things then, but so that is how eccentric I was. And I would bunk school. I went to one of the best schools in Bombay, JB Petit, and but I would still bunk it, and I would sit on the terrace which faced the sea, and I would keep scribbling all day. I don't know what it made me do. And I was such an honest truant. You won't believe it, Maya. I would actually see the clock and be like, oh, right now there'll be break period in the school. So in the break period on my terrace, I would eat my dabba. You know,
Oh,
I'm a very eccentric person, so to speak. I think that's where the eccentricity part is. And as far as the vision part goes, Maya, I would say that I have a lot of visions, I have a lot of thoughts, but if I have to sum up, in 11 words, it would be to awaken humanity to a better way of life through words and silence. So everything I do is basically trying to inspire, is trying to tell people, hey, there's a better way. It's trying to tell people, no, this is not it. We can do it better. And I think all the answers to my life, I mean, every problem I've ever had, I've always found the answers of it within. And I want to tell everyone out there that, hey guys, just look within and you'll find more strength, more power, more answers than you can imagine. So I
Yes,
think that's
I
the
can
vision to.
totally relate to that. Yes. The more
Yes,
we introspect, the more we dive in, the better we explore, the deeper we go.
absolutely. So I
So
think
what was it?
that's, yeah, that's the
What was
vision.
it that I'm sorry, please go on.
Yeah, so I'm so saying that that's the vision, and I've realized that everything I do, be it writing books, be it writing movies, I've written this whole textbook from lower KG to 12th for children, which is
Okay,
being used in schools. All of it is actually aligning to this vision that let's live life in a better way. I think, yeah.
wonderful. What actually hurled you into writing, Megha?
Um, I was a very curious kid, Maya. Were you also like that as a writer? Like, were you a wanderer, a curious person? I think it's a writer trait. I think that's a madness we all share. So I was very curious all the time, and I had so many questions, and nobody in the world outside could really give me the correct answers. Like, I would suddenly be on the dining table and I would ask my father, like, Papa, what is love? And he would just be like, Beta, I don't know, but I love you. So I think I used to put people on spots, like I didn't know I was doing that, but I would just keep asking questions. And I think finding those answers, not knowing where to find those answers is what actually led me to writing. So I had this notebook always. I don't know, this is like literally like a right hand for me,
Oh,
anywhere I've gone, or even through my growing, there's always been a notebook and a pen with me. So the minute some thought used to come or some question used to come, I would keep writing. Over time, I would start answering my own questions. And in the answers, I would find so many amazing things that it was like, oh wow. So actually, I was a scribbler. I wouldn't call myself a writer at all. I used to scribble, scribble, scribble some more, write a lot of nonsense. But over the years, I think that fine tune, the finesse came, and yeah, I think I grew into an author.
that's wonderful. So, what has your family background been? Tell us something about that.
Oh. I come from a very heavy family background. All right brain, all left brain science kind of people. So, my
Okay.
dad is from IIT, an architect and a genius of a person. My mom was the first graduate in her family and she chose to do law. My sister is a doctor. My husband is an engineer. So, literally, I'm surrounded by engineers, doctors, lawyers, chartered accountants. My best friend is a chartered accountant. So, suddenly, when I come with all these curls and so many thoughts and ideas and say, hey, I want to be a writer. It was like really like my parents were like, हाँ बेटा वो तो hobby है तुम्हारी पर
Hmm.
काम क्या करना चाहते हो? I was like,
Profession क्या है?
yeah,
Hmm.
I said, काम ही writing करना चाहती हूँ because I could not comprehend Maya. Why would I do something from Monday to Saturday that I hate and then on Sunday write as a hobby? I wanted to
True.
make my hobby into my passion, into my career. So it wasn't, it was really frowned upon. It wasn't taken well. In fact, I did my 11th in science. I nearly failed the year. So finally, I put my foot down and said, please, can you all understand? I'm not able to understand science. Then I
Hmm.
shifted to arts and I topped the college.
Hmm.
So when my parents realized, oh, the moment you put a person in the right environment, magic happens. And I think this is for
True.
every, aspiring author or, every parent out there who feels that their child should be a specific something. But the moment you realize your passion, and I think Maya, as you were telling me, you too have been someone who's heard the call of your heart. So I think that's how the whole shift happened to me. But yeah, that's my family background. It's too many very intelligent people. And I'm the one heart person over here.
Hmm. That's what I'm saying. We majorly live by one organ, and we are the people who need to make notes to all what we have been seeing around. कोई वो भी तो कोई एक चाहिए ना जो बाकी सबकी एक्सेंट्रिक और उन सबकी भी विम्स पे काम कर सके उन सबके लिए भी कुछ ना कुछ कहना
Yes.
आता हो. So one has to be expressive enough to be able to generalize on what is going on around. It's a complete masquerade going on around. One has to have that. Uh, we are all on that roller coaster, you know. If one gets down for a while, has a complete look, feels intrigued, comes out with beautiful conclusions in a very objective manner. So that is
True.
also needed. That kind of a person is also needed in the family, no matter how insane people might consider the person is.
Absolutely. Like, I have to share one very cute anecdote. It's like me and my husband met for the first time. And of course,
Mhm.
that time I didn't know he's going to be my husband. And we were standing at Chopati Beach, and the clouds formed this beautiful shape of dragons, etc. And I wanted to test this man and ask him that, is he creative? ये मेरे जैसा है कि नहीं? So I asked him, I'm like, Arun, what does this look like to you? You know, this whole, and it really looked like a dragon, like spitting fire and a chariot and all that. So he's looking and looking, and for like 3 minutes he looked at the clouds, and I was like, so what does it look like to you? He's like, it looks like clouds. And I was like, I know that.
Wow,
What does it
wow,
look
you got
like?
it.
So we are that proper engineer, married, writer kind of duo, you know, and it's super fun. Yeah.
So has it been a fun ride, or at times you just feel like you're not compatible? He's not getting you.
I really used to think that, honestly. I used to be like, please, you know, like my Guru Mahatria always says this sentence that it's like you're a speck of dust, you know, in the entirety of the universe, and a husband or your spouse is a speck of dust. And from where these two specks of dust come together, we don't know. So I used to always wonder, why did this speck of dust come to me? You know, we're so different, we're so opposite. But I can tell you one thing, the way we love our differences, the way he respects me, the way he allows me to grow, the way he is, and I know he's listening to this right now, he's in the other room, but I can just tell you that the way he's helped me to become what I can be without intruding into me or trying to change me. I can say a million thank yous to him, and all I can say is that it's been the best thing, and we're just counting and looking forward to the years coming forward.
That's beautiful. I wish you all the very best for the future years to come. The
Thank you.
compatibility, the love, the mutual trust, and allowing each other to grow in the environment which is conducive to your growth. It should
Absolutely.
increase and increase further.
And we are like two states as well. So I'm Marwadi and he's South Indian. So
Okay.
literally it's like dal bati and rasam vada ka war in our house, but it's phenomenal. I think we're both learning to appreciate differences, cherish them, and I think that's making all the difference to both of us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We grow like a team and we allow each other to grow like an individual as well.
absolutely.
So, this is what the crux of a good marriage is all about.
Absolutely.
Tell us something about Megha in the making. You told me that you were called a crazy genius in your school.
I was called a crazy genius because one year I would be in the top of my class, and it wasn't that easy to top my class because it was one of the best schools, and all the cream crowd, like Shobha De's daughter studied in our school, and you know, Khoraki Wala studied in our school. It was like that. So it wasn't that easy because it was a school of a lot of passionate women wanting to excel, prove themselves, things like that. But effortlessly, if I wanted, I could talk. Okay, like
Hmm.
people who have taught me, I would get more marks than them. And yet, as effortlessly, I would come at the bottom also. You know, so each year I would be like literally oscillating between being a topper and being in the bottom, topper and bottom. So my teachers used to be so exasperated because they used to tell them who were equally exasperated with me that why is she like this? You know, why can't we've seen kids who are like always the topper, or we've seen kids
Hmm.
who are always in the bottom, or they're
Yeah,
kids who
there's
are
some
in the middle.
consistent pattern.
Yeah, or they're in the middle. She's here and then she's here. Like, where is the, you know, and why does that happen? And I have to tell you this, that the reason that used to happen is because I didn't know how to master my emotions. Like, as an author, I love the topic you've chosen, madness and love your madness. I think all authors have eccentricities. They're very deep people. We're very emotionally fragile sometimes, and all of this, we're very sensitive, and all of this actually makes us write the way we do. It makes us live the way we do. It makes us think the way we do. But
Yes,
in the
agreed.
bargain, often we find ourselves oscillating in extremities also, you know. And I've heard this from so many authors, so many people in the creative field that they too go through this. Now, from childhood, I was going through this, and that's the thing. That's what amazes me, that I studied in the best school, but because we never have a subject called emotions or relationships or life, no one could catch that and help me with it. So
Mhm.
till then I kept oscillating, and that was Megha in the making, and a very full of life person, I think, from childhood, very wanting to experiment, wanting to try it all. I don't like saying no, like as far as possible, because I feel every experience is so unique and so special, and it's going to do something to me. And if something happens to me, that's going to translate into my words, and I'll be able to take it to so many readers. So often, I don't know if you feel this, Maya, but I feel I'm living my life for the world, because all the experiences I'll go through is ultimately going to go and do something for the world. So
True.
yeah. So it's been like that. I think I was just crazy, fun, um, a little erratic, which of course over the years I've learned to completely change and grow in my emotional stability, be more neutral about things. But yeah, that's how it's been when I was growing up.
Yeah, I've seen people enjoying very prestigious lives, situated on very high, uh, the pedestal of reverence, and people adore them for all the qualities that they have. But at the same time, we are somewhere forgetting how to impart that kind of emotional intelligence to our kids these days, because
True.
that is why it's going haywire. They don't
True.
really understand how to cope up with certain anxieties that they have. And I think that's what we can do. We can create ripples of positivity in the world. We can make every emotion a subject of our poetry, of our writings. We can draw from the substance of life. We can extract the best of the juices and give it over to our readers, because everybody can relate to something which is based on sentiments. So that
True.
emotional intelligence also needs to be worked on amongst our
Absolutely.
youngsters, because this is where this black dog called depression is coming into play. And there are many other wrong things just because they are not able to cope up with what is
Exactly.
bubbling inside. They don't know how to give an outlet to that. They don't know what could be the things that could be cathartic to them. And it's that safety wall is not working, so
Correct.
somehow it just bursts out at times.
It
So
is.
that balance comes from being able to express and to feel with intensity whatever you feel, and to rationalize it in the best way possible. Why do I feel that certain way? If I start understanding myself, why am I working this way? Why I said that? Why did I do that? Why my reaction was like this? If I give myself time to understand what provoked me to say certain thing, or why did I cope up with the situation, why I couldn't say it, why couldn't I face it? So there are certain things that questions, those questions can be answered from within.
Hmm. True, and
Right.
totally agree with you. And I think, like you focused on expressing, I think we're all going through all, a complete gamut of thoughts, feelings, expressions,
Hmm.
experiences. How often do we feel that I can be 100% myself with these people, and I know it's all going to be fine, they'll just accept me as it is? I think one of the greatest freedoms, and I come from a very beautiful, loving, a very, very beautiful home. Yet I felt the need to write, to kind of let go of all my thoughts, feelings, and not that necessarily it
Hmm.
was negative. I mean, it was a lot of very beautiful wonderings also. But I felt that when I wrote, I actually got all those thoughts which are so intangible down on paper, and I could see it, I could observe it, and I could know that, hey, this is me, and this is where I'm going awry, or this is also me, and I could work on myself. I think writing in that sense has been my mirror. I would literally say it's been a mirror, and it's shown me to me, and that's been amazing.
That's wonderful. You have beautifully put it. And the example that I gave you about the roller coaster, we need at times to see ourselves objectively. Because the more we get involved, we are not able to analyze, we're not able to introspect, we're not able to fathom the reasons that are working with the brain and we are reacting a certain way. So the
True.
more and more we realize seeing ourselves in that light, the way we see the world, it becomes very easy as a journey of the soul to move forward with the milestones.
I agree. Completely agree with you.
So, Megha, when did this baby happen? I mean, the baby of the intellect. Tell us something about that. The first book you wrote. Was it
Uh,
Thank You, Cancer?
yes, it was Thank You Cancer. And considering that a girl as young as 23 wrote that
Hmm.
was really so, like, the book hit it off in a big way for people. And I would get invited to a lot of places as a chief guest. And the first thing they would look at me and say is that you have written Thank You Cancer, because I looked even younger than what I was. I looked 16, 17 when I was 23. So they were always zapped. And I think, for writers, a lot of their writing and experiences are born from their life. For me, especially, everything I go through ultimately becomes a writing, and everything I write about is an experience in my life.
True.
So, my mother was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer in
Oh.
2005, and I was all of 21 or 22 then. And of course, the family was zapped, and it was a very life changing incident for us. And I think that's where, I went through all the emotions of the journey. But whenever I would go to a crossword near my house and try to look for books on cancer, something that would tell me it's going to be okay, and
Hmm.
I wanted to hear that as a daughter, I would
Hmm.
only come across a lot of, you know, either very spiritual stuff, or it would be very like medical stuff. And I never felt comforted. So when the whole journey was over and she was out of it, I just thought to myself that why shouldn't I write that book telling every child who, like me, went through so much in this journey, telling them that, hey, there is a way out. So that's why the title is also quite, paradoxical, right? No one thanks
Yeah.
cancer. But
Yeah.
I really felt that I needed to acknowledge that cancer came to our life, it changed it forever, and it's only been better because of that. So I wanted to acknowledge that, and that's what the book is about. It's about 10 women who fought it, and the second section of the book is all about, very positive alternate therapies that can help you. So it got picked up by Hay House, which was amazing. I mean, at 23, you don't expect to be published by a world acclaimed publishing house, but it happened. And I think the reason it happened is because the writing was so relatable. And
Hmm.
Ashok Chopra, who was then the CEO of Hay House, he felt that, he's like, I can connect, I can cry, I can laugh with this book, and that's what you've done. So yeah, it was a strange thing to happen at age 23, but a beautiful thing to happen as
That
well.
was a miracle moment. There, that is where the breakthrough started with you,
Yeah, I think
right?
so. Yes,
Hmm.
I can say my life changed completely after this incident in our family. And yeah, and we've seen miracles even after that. Maybe as we go along, I'll share it with you. But it's been a miraculous journey. And I wanted to tell people that, hey, don't, even the worst breakdown can be converted into a breakthrough. And I think that's the message I want to give through my writing and moreover through my life. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I was so happy to know that your mama is sound and safe and she's not restoring to any medical treatment and still she is there with you.
Yeah,
That's
and this was
wonderful. That's
yeah,
amazing.
and this was after the second cancer. So the first one was in 2005. The second one was in 2013, and that was stage 4, grade 4 brain cancer. So literally, it was a no way out scenario, and doctors told us 3 months to live. All of that happened, and today, 2021, she's alive. She's kicking, with no scan and not a single medicine. And to me,
Wonderful.
I feel if that is not breakdown to breakthrough, I don't know what is. And
Yes,
that's what I
it
want to
is.
bring to people in every way and everything that I do.
I wish her a long and blessed life ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Maya.
So, Megha, I would like my audience to be benefited by you. Let us know the difference between self-publishing and publishing through a known name. What are the
Sure.
differences? What are the pros and cons? Tell us something about
Um, See, I would say that when a publisher invests in you,
it. Mm-hmm.
or when a publisher is going in for your book, I would always say that to me, that's always proven to be a better way of doing things, because when someone's putting their money into you, they are going to sell it, they are going to market it, they're going to distribute it. And I always feel that we as authors, we have to learn how to sell, we have to learn how to speak, we have to learn everything. But the more we stick to what we're good at, and the more we let other people do what they are good at, the more
Hmm.
books you're going to be able to write. Because if you have to only write the book, you only have to design it, you only have to do everything, you only have to market it, and there's no help around, it's going to be a very long, dreary process. So I've always believed highly in the self-publish, in the traditional publishing scenario where you go via a publisher. And of course, I've been lucky enough to find publishers who wanted to invest in me. If you don't find anyone, of course, and you still know that you have a voice and you
Hmm.
want to get the story out, of course, you
Hmm.
have to opt for self publishing. That's the second best option. But here, I just want to say that don't, for every writer listening to this, writing your book is the smallest step. We think when we've put that last full stop after those numerous editings, we're done. Oh no, then you've begun. So if you can understand that writing the book is just the first step, then you have to get the perfect look, the feel, the this, the that, and then you have to put it out there, and then you have to sell it. So I've realized that how many of our partners can come along the way and help you in this, it's going to be that much more meaningful. So even if you're self-publishing, ensure that you tie up with someone who's willing to have your book visible everywhere. Make
Hmm.
sure that you're publishing with someone, even if it's a self-help place like Notion Press or something else, ensure that they are giving you visibility and they're marketing for you, because at some point you're going to tire out, and you yourself will wonder, should I be writing more or should I just be doing this all day long? And
Definitely.
Maya's
That,
giving me a
yeah.
very knowing smile.
Hmm. That's
Yeah.
the dilemma, and that is why this question.
Hmm.
Because there might be many budding authors who might be beset with this kind of confusions whether they should go for self publishing or they should go
Correct.
through the mainstream publishing, and what are the steps
Yes.
and how to deal with those rejections, Mega.
Like you deal with every other rejection in life, because no matter, I mean, if J.K. Rowling could go through it, I think all of us will go through several no's before we come to that one yes. And I think what really makes a difference, Maya, is that how do you pitch yourself? Because people are not just wanting to read what you write, they're wondering if you as an author is interesting enough. That's something I've only learned post breakthrough, like in the last 2 years, that 1.5 years, that people are not just buying your book, they're buying you. So, how you project yourself, who you are, how open you are to the world, how willing you are to speak to them, relate to them, is going to make a lot of difference to your book. So, like this chat show that you're doing, it's a great idea because people are getting to see Maya, as Maya the person. Because in a book, you're hidden, you're not
Hmm.
there anymore.
Hmm.
So, I think to every author watching this, as much as you need to make your book visible, you need to make yourself visible. Your likes, your
So that's
dislikes.
a latest trend. Earlier the idea of solitude used to be coupled with writing thing
True,
because people
true.
would just shut them up in the
Yes,
room and not interact with the world at all.
I was
And
like that.
that's how writing went.
Yeah, I've been like that. Like, if I have to write a book, I will isolate myself. And I
Hmm.
still do that. See, that's the difference. Like, when you need to actually write the book, you need to isolate yourself, because sitting amidst 10 things, your WhatsApp ringing, your Facebook, you're not going to get much done. But when you need to sell your book and when you need to launch it,
You
you
need
need
to
to be
come in the
out
market,
there.
yes.
You
Hmm.
need to, and there's no, I was a very shy person. I wasn't really shy because, like, I didn't want to. My natural preference has been to be with myself, and I've been into meditation for 2 decades now, so very
Okay.
naturally I'm a very meditative person. Like, you know I'm happy with myself. I don't really need
Hmm.
anyone to add anything.
Hmm.
But after breakthrough, I realized there were days, Maya, where literally 30 days I was doing 28 interviews, and it was very unusual for me because I don't like speaking so much, and I don't like this. I mean, I'm happy. Why would I need to do so much? But I've realized that if you really believe in your book and you think that people should read it, you believe in yourself and you think people should get to know you, you have to make this change. So, to all the authors out there, guys, it's not enough you're an author. You have to become an author speaker, you have to become an author leader, you have to become an author thinker. Then you stand a chance to stand apart.
And as we talked about that rivalry thing which is there amongst the fraternity ones, so do you think that's a healthy kind of a bent of mind?
Absolutely not. In fact, very recently I was reading another writer's page, and
Hmm.
she was literally ripping other writers apart. And she was saying that some writers do this and that. And she was really derogatory towards other writers. And I felt sad. I didn't even feel angry. Actually, the right emotion was sad. I just felt that, just look at you. You know what it's taken to get where you are. You
Hmm.
know the journey each writer is on. From the thought to the creation to finding a publisher to the rejections to seeing your first copy to selling it. It's nothing less than having a baby. Okay,
That's what I
nothing less.
have. Yeah.
And
That's the analogy which strikes me always when I talk about a book, because it takes a complete 9 to 12 months of period, similarly, and you do get that motherhood kind of a pride when
true.
you have your baby there in the world,
So
and
when
people are able
you
to
go
relate to
through,
that.
yeah, and when you go through all of that, Maya, would you not understand another writer? Why
Hmm.
would you put a writer down? Literally, we should start a movement where writers stand for writers, help each other, and I mean, what are we so threatened about? Is it that a person reads your book or my book? They're going to pick up both our books if they're good. And right now, writers are not competing with each other. We are competing with Netflix. We are competing with Amazon Prime. We are competing with social media. So we should come together and create such brilliant content, help each other to market it so that we can all grow together. What's the harm?
Yeah. It's just like kites fighting for their space in the sky. The sky is all vast, and every kite can have its own flight.
Absolutely. And it's almost like stars fighting. Like each
Hmm.
star, however huge you are, you have your own space. There's no need to fight. Just be. There's
The
infinite space.
higher you go on the strata, the higher you go on the ladder, the humbler you are expected to be. The
Correct.
humility has to be an adornment, especially when you
Absolutely.
are enjoying a high status.
So, like, on my page, which has like 30,000 followers, and all of them are readers, if I've bought into a writer and I feel this person's got substance, I would invite them for an interview. I
Hmm.
would definitely talk about their book. I don't feel threatened. I don't feel that, oh, you won't buy Breakthrough if you're buying Maya Khandelwal's book. Arey, why? You'll buy Breakthrough also, you'll buy Maya Khandelwal also, and you'll keep becoming a bigger and better reader. So
Yeah.
please, guys, I would really urge all the authors watching this, don't fight with each other. Let's help each other and let's create a better world together, because we can't do it alone, right?
Yeah, and what do you have to say about those writers or those artisans or whosoever, whatever art I'm talking about? They would reach you out. They would request you to buy their product, and they would want you to post a selfie with that product, and then they would want you to write a review about it, and then they would promise that if you read theirs, they would read yours. So I don't think that works well, because being writer, being the
Mhm.
person of substance that you are, that you are able to write things down in the best way possible to be interpreted by the whole world in the positive way, you have that thing inside. You need not indulge into things like those.
So I'll tell you what I would do. I would not ever talk about a product that I don't believe in. Okay, and to give you an example, I've been offered close to 20,000 rupees by a person who wants to post Coke ads on my page. And I've said no to it. And 20,000 an ad is huge money. Okay, I mean, I need not write books also all my life, and it's enough for me. I don't buy into Coke, because I think it's just, sugar and bad things that you're putting into your body. I've said no. I've not indulged into that thing. At the same time, if someone's telling me here is something brilliant, please can you read it? Please, if you like it, please talk about it. Oh,
Hmm,
I'll happily do that, because
hmm.
if I don't talk about your book, Maya, and you don't talk about my book, who's going to help us take us to the world? If
Hmm.
like you were telling me behind the scene that you love breakthrough, if if you tell that to 10,000 more people on your page, everyone will read a breakthrough. When your
Yeah.
book comes up and I tell people, hey, look at this author, I like the way she thinks, more 10,000 people will read that. And we need to do that. So I think if it's positive, mutual, happy sharing, I think we need to do that more than ever before. Yeah,
Hmm.
if you don't endorse a product, why would you opt for it? So those
Definitely.
are, yeah, I think that's how I think about this.
Mega, I read somewhere that the virtual book launch of Breakthrough involved close to 500,000 people. Well, that's very, very, very huge.
Yeah, it
How
is.
did that happen? Had you ever
That
dreamt of it?
literally, I think it's like I would have to say that the role of a guru, at least for me, the role of my guru in my life has been very immense, and um, it was amazing. I mean, I wrote this book, and all of the things happened, and it turned out to be an amazing, a lot of inspiration more than anything else. And it was ready last year. Just then, the whole world goes into a pandemic, into a lockdown. What do you do? Because you know that this is the book that can help people, because it's going to give you a breakthrough. It's going to tell you how to deal with challenging times. And we can't even do a book launch because 11 of them are from different cities. I'm from Bombay. In a typical book launch, you'll have about 2 to 300 people. Just excuse me once.
Yeah.
I'm not used to talking so much. Literally, it's like as authors, you're so used to writing and talking through your fingers. Um, so basically, we couldn't meet. It wasn't possible to meet at all. So we were wondering now, what do we do? How do we go about it? That's when this thought came that since we can't have a physical book launch, how about
Mhm.
having a virtual book launch?
Hmm.
And since this book is all about abundance, it's about attracting good things. If we're having a virtual book launch, it should be the world's biggest book launch. Okay, so that's how the thought built up. Now, how do we get it? I mean, putting the publisher, putting all 11 together, we would only know that many people. And we are
Hmm.
going on inviting them, we're telling them, they're all excited. Everyone was very, very excited about the book launch. But I mean, among 13 people, how many people can you reach? So how one idea led to the other. Like, we actually reached out to Book My Show, and the event was held live on Book My Show. page as well.
Okay.
So that was unusual because usually they had done music events or, not like a book launch, but that
Yeah.
also happened. All
Hmm.
of that happened. And it was amazing. And we worked like I don't think we've ever worked before as a team, individually. Like I said, like you think, oh, you put that last full stop, now your work is done. Oh my
Hmm.
God, the amount of Zoom meetings I used to have, I don't think in my life I've ever had that. All of that, and the date we fixed is 15th August. And the publisher
Okay.
told us ki someone has had a launch with 1 lakh people. So now, if you all want to be the world's biggest, you have to have triple one, triple one. And that worked very well for us because we thought that it goes with the Levinka theme and all of that. So we wanted triple one people. 15th August is fixed. Book My Show has come. We've invited everyone. On 14th night, okay, we were at 23,000 registrations. People who have registered for the event. And we were like, oh my God, what do we do? Because we've announced triple one, and we're just at 23,000. What's going to happen? I think that was a moment of, epiphany, eureka moment, you can call it. I just asked myself that in this 2 months, that we were working towards the launch, would I have done anything differently?
Hmm.
The publisher was the best. The 11 people, the way they supported everything was phenomenal. Could I have changed anything? And I realized no, I gave it my very, very, very best. So the moment that understanding came that, okay, even with the best, we could only reach this much, I felt
Hmm.
peaceful. And I
Hmm.
remember writing a mail to my guru that night saying, that old adage, which goes that I think I've done my best. Now you take over the rest. And it's so beautiful. Like the way it typed itself out was that I think I've done I know I've done my best, comma, now you do the rest, is what I wrote. And I sent that mail. And it was amazing. And then 15th August happened, 6 o'clock came, and the whole book launch happened, and you don't get to know immediately the numbers.
Hmm.
2 days later, I think it was a Tuesday when we got to know, and we realized that 3 lakh 82,500 people.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
And we were zapped. Okay, I was zapped. I was literally in tears because I was at 23,000 on 14th August. And on 15th August, how can the number triple 10 times? How is it possible? And that's when I realized the power of that comma, of humility and surrender, because it was
Amazing.
literally saying, I did my best,
Hmm.
comma, now you do the rest. And
I think
literally
that's
the
what we
universe.
need to say to God for whatever we have put in, to the best of our energies and our stamina and our sincerity, that earnest pursuit of our goals. And then we wait for God to give a hand of blessing to us.
Correct. And that's what happened. And it was a personal moment of spiritual breakthrough because I
Yeah,
realized that
wonderful.
in every situation, you can do your best, pause that comma, and say, now you take over. And
Yeah.
whatever be the situation, right? Even if that many people hadn't showed up, it wouldn't
Hmm.
have made me less grateful or less
Yeah.
happy. But the fact that it went in my way made it that much sweeter for us.
I think that pause is also very important because
It is.
unless we have this another adornment which is called patience and
Hmm.
persistence and perseverance, we won't be going anywhere.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. And
before
you still,
switching over to the next question of mine, you have referred to your guru twice. I would like to know a little more about him first of all.
so his name is Mahatria Ra, and
Mhm.
he's founded
I saw that a name mentioned in the book as well,
yes,
and a
and
number of places. Hmm.
he's founded a path called Infinitism. So it's basically, I mean, his core philosophies are all around this and that. So basically, it's like we always believe that either we can be materialistic or we can be spiritual.
Hmm.
He's kind of shown us ways by which you can be both. So
Hmm.
the entire path is a path of holistic abundance. In fact, breakthrough is born from this feeling that, when someone asks you what is success, a lot of us measure it by what we've achieved or our money or, the books we've written.
Hmm.
But the way Mahatria describes a holistic person is you have to be healthy, you have to be wealthy, You have to have beautiful relationships. You have to have bliss in your life. Happiness should be like your nature, and you're peaceful. So you're very spiritually aligned. So I think I came into the path very early in my life. Like I came when I was only about 21. So I've literally grown to these thought processes that you can be this and you can be that. You can be this. You can have this also, that also. It's not greedy to want more. In fact,
Hmm.
it's beautiful. And one of the beautiful things he says is that money in the hands of good people is going to
Hmm.
create the world. Money in the hands of a person who's got bad thinking is going to destroy the world. So,
Hmm.
like every terrorist, if they had no money, they would not be able to do anything. And every Mahatma or every Mother Teresa had all the money, they would achieve that much more in life. So, a lot of these beautiful thought processes is what he's gifted me with. And Maya, it's changed my life because, like I said, if you're taught math, English, science, geography, history, who's going to teach you life, money, emotions, expectation management, spirituality, and all of this? So, literally, like how Harry Potter would have felt when he went to Hogwarts, is how I felt when I came to my guru. I felt like, oh, so this is where the life of magic begins. And
Hmm.
that's how it's been for me. It's been a magical journey into spirituality.
I'm also reminded of the title, The Monk Who Sold the Ferrari.
Yeah,
Means it is an assimilation of both tangibles and intangibles nowadays, which is counted important. And I think that's a new kind of a philosophy which suits us the best.
absolutely.
Because the more we desire, the more fulfillment it leads us to.
Correct.
But
Like,
the ways that we choose as the means to achieve those goals have to be the good ones. And that is to be ensured.
absolutely. Like the fact that 500,000 people came for the book launch, of course, it made me happy.
Yeah.
And they were so inspired by the evening. They were so taken aback by the evening and they were so happy. I want to do that and I want to do that to big numbers. So I think the whole, like my dad is a person, he's a philanthropist. Okay. So he's always brought us up saying, do all the good work possible and never charge for it, never ask for money, never expect money, or things like that. And suddenly I realized that, hey, that's not going to work because you need objectives, you need goals, you need things. And what is the harm? I mean, why is money a bad thing? I think that's the whole biggest thought process change that Mahathir brought about. Another huge one that he kind of gave me is that he said that, like, what he propagates is basically that God is within you, and you just have to find that God. You have to scrape through all that stuff and reach that silence. Like he always says this phrase that be still and know that I am God, meaning for each one of us, when you're still and nothing of that noise is there, that is the God state. So I think that was another beautiful thing, because growing up in a family where Krishna Bhagwan, Ganpati, all of that, to realizing that ultimately the power lies in me
Yeah.
was a big paradigm shift. And I think that's what you see in my books and my movies, everything that I do. I want to tell people the power is in you.
So
Yeah,
something as insignificant as a punctuation mark, as comma could be, it does teach us a lot of things.
it
It does
does.
teach us the value of patience.
Of humility, of
And pause is beautiful. Pause is beautiful
I
because
think
it
it's
makes you expectant. It makes you have your means anchor as God.
yeah, and it's such a paradox, right? That in a way you're saying the power is with you, and in a way you say that you're nothing and you allow God to fill you. And I think this is true because it's like the flute, right? Like without the flute, the music will not flow, and unless the flute is empty, also the music will not flow. So
Yeah,
you
it has
need,
to be breathed in.
yeah, you need that instrument to be the finest bamboo and the finest quality, and you need to be empty, and only then that divine music comes.
Yeah, I think those blanks, those fill in the blanks, those holes have also to be there because at times we do experience vacuum in our life. There are periods of dullness and blank, but they are actually the ones that are making the air that is coming out of your mouth produced music.
Absolutely. In fact, I remember one article, as you said this, that, it was called emptiness. And we're so afraid of emptiness. Like, if we're sitting alone for a moment, our first instinct is to pick up our phone and start, doing things.
Hmm.
I, in fact, met someone who told me that in the night, if my husband's not there, I actually switch on the TV and sleep because I need noise to make me sleep. So we've made ourselves so full that we've forgotten who we are in this whole bargain. And I truly believe, Maya, that what you keep saying, you've said so much about pause, about emptiness. And I think that is what actually gives meaning to the thing. So, Mahatma himself says, he said, it's your non doing that gives meaning to your doing. And
Yes,
I think that's something that's been an integral part of me. Like, I'll write, then I'll just sit in silence. Then I'll write, then again I'll sit. I can't continuously do something. Yeah.
that's beautiful. Have you ever faced writer's block? Is it even true? What does it mean? And how do you come out of that?
So I think this is one of the most amazing questions, and this is always asked for some reason. I think because it's a real thing. So yes, it's a very real thing. When your mind is like to write, like we just spoke about the flute, it has to be empty, then the music flows. As writers, I think we have to be in a calm state of mind, in a focused state. We have to have some kind of semblance of solitude around us, I mean. And writers can do this. You can be amidst a cafe with hundreds of people, but in your mind you're in a bubble. Okay, so I feel that when all of these happen is when the best writing kind of flows. So when you're going through a very emotionally upheaval phase, or you're going through a lull in your life where everything is stagnant, it is kind of, it affects your writing, and often a person finds themselves not being able to write. Of course, the opposite also happens, because sometimes for some writers the chaotic times brings out the best in them, but a lot of
Hmm.
people are not able to also. So it's both ways, whichever spectrum you fall under. So I think writer's block is very real, and what you're going through your life definitely affects your writer's block, and I think one of the ways to resolve the writer's block is by writing. So simple as it sounds, and you're saying, but hey, that's what I don't want to do. But often in life you'll realize that that which you resist the most, when you just drop that resistance and do it, you come to realize that hey, it wasn't that big a deal anyway. Like for
Whatever
me,
passion you follow in your life, वो आपका मर्ज भी है और वो आपकी दवा भी है.
exactly. So I feel like the only way to get over a writer's block is to write. And trust me, the first few sentences that you'll write will feel very fake, very forced, very like,
Hmm.
why am I doing
Yeah,
this? It's like,
yeah.
but when you keep on at it, at one point you tip over and that block is broken.
Hmm.
And another simpler advice I would say is that take a nature break. There's something about nature that's so empty and it doesn't judge you. It's not emitting thoughts. So it gives you that leeway or that freedom to reconnect with yourself, and the writing flows. So like one of the ways I get over my writer's block is I go off, for a week to an Ayurveda resort or for a yoga retreat, and I find words tumbling out of me, through these periods. So I hope that answers it.
Yeah, any kind of spiritual experience that we feel a heart to be close to can replenish us with a new blood.
True, true, absolutely.
What are your future goals? What is there up the sleeve?
Okay. So a lot of books, of course. I mean, after breakthrough, I think about 20 to 30 people have asked me to write their biographies, and I have not said yes to any single person yet. So I'm still thinking of how I want to go, what I want to do. But there's some other books I've worked along the way which will be out soon. The big step is going to be a lot of production houses and directors have approached, and they've asked, if we can have something being done. So let's see what's going to happen. I mean, I'm on the way, and it's really exciting. It's a new journey, and yeah. So as an author, those two
Uh,
things. And as a seeker, I want to become more and more beautiful, or more and more calm, more loving, more empathetic by each passing year of my life. Yeah.
I love this lovely combination of the material and the immaterial, because that is what I think we all need to target at.
Yeah.
Because physically we are existing in this world, but that there has to be something deeper inside which gives us a purpose to live in this world.
Cool. So my goals are never like just about books. It's always about myself and what more I want from me as a person. And I feel like I want to grow more in love and more in peace than ever before. So yeah.
So I pick a few lines from what I have read. It does not matter what you have. What matters is what you do with what you have. So let me
Yeah.
know what you think you do have and what you think you are going to do with it.
I think what I do have is a lot of courage. I used to be a very meek person. I used to be a person who was very easily, you could just do foo and I'll fly off, that kind of a person. Like,
Okay.
very meek, actually a meek person. And I think the, I think life, people around me, situations, experiences have made me really, really strong. And I'm not afraid of failures. I'd done a post about this just a day before. I wrote that to succeed in life, the first thing you need to do is get over your fear of failure. And I've failed so much. People look at me and literally they're like, you have golden dust, everything goes right for you, you're a princess. It's what they
Just the
see.
opposite. Yeah.
Yeah, it's what they are viewing, but I know what it's gotten to get there. To get one book out, I know what it's taken. So I would never say that, it's been easy or whatever. And I think that strength is what I have got, and not afraid of failure. And what I'm going to do with that is that I'm going to experiment. I'm going to go through a million things in my life. I mean, I want to experience everything. I, like right now, I'm working on a web series, which is something I never thought I would do. And it's so different from writing a book. So it's so much fun. And I'm not afraid of failure and I'm not scared of losing. And that's what's taking me to a lot of uncharted like it's so easy, right? Breakthroughs become good, big. It's so easy to pick up 10 more biographies and do it, 20 more biographies and do it. People are waiting, they're following up every day. I don't want to go down that same path. Maybe I'll do it 3 months later if I really find something interesting. But I want to keep experimenting. And I think you can only experiment when you're not scared of failure. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. And I would like to wish you stay mad, you stay passionate, you remain a wanderer and keep exploring the latest of the trends in the world of writing or thinking or going deeper into philosophy. It was lovely talking to you, Megha, and I'm sure my audience must have enjoyed it as well. And they might have got a number of questions answered through this discussion of ours.
I hope so. And Maya, I have to tell you that this has definitely been one of my very deep, meaningful conversations. The way you've been able to probe into me, keep me surprised with the questions. It's been beautiful, and I think that says a lot about you as a person and as an author. And I really wish that your book is a mighty success and it transforms you and the world in the most beautiful ways possible.
Thank you so much. I wish you the same.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.